Congress truly prepared for another electoral contest, as it consolidated enough public trust through performance and internal unity, and what strategies might define its path to 2027? At the same time, what is the fate of opposition politics in Nigeria? Can opposition parties reorganize, build stronger coalitions, and present a credible alternative? Or will internal divisions and structural challenges continue to weaken their influence? These are the pressing issues shaping Nigeria's political future, and tonight we examine them in depth. Tonight we dig into those questions with a voice from a new generation of political actors. My guest tonight is Dr. Felix, who made history as the youngest aspirant under the APC in the 2023 elections. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so quickly, you are the youngest APC presidential aspirant in 2023. Are you considering another run in 2027? Are you?
No, of course not. We have a president, and he's doing a good job, so we have to give him the second term. So definitely not. I'm supporting Mr. President 110%.
All right. So APC has been in power for years. By May, we'll be talking about 11 years. 8 years of the late Buhari government and this administration. Is your party genuinely ready for the next election, or is APC simply relying on incumbency, state power, and opposition weakness?
APC is more ready than 2023. As you can see, so much are going on. The party registration is ongoing in several states. Before coming here, I saw a video and clips from my brother, Jack Rich, of his own party registration in his own local government. We are doing that. So APC is more ready than even what we experienced in 2023. Sometimes when I look at what people are saying online on TV regarding APC, I sometimes wonder if they are deceiving themselves or somebody is deceiving them. We're going to win this election way more than what we saw in 2023. So as a party, we are very ready. This is not just about incumbency. Like you said, it's been 11 years, and the party has been preparing. The party has been growing, and now we have our leader who was leader before he became president, and now even as president, I'm telling you, we are going to win this election. The gap will be so much. I don't think anybody will be seeking to go to court.
All right. So that question was, you're going to win this election based on what? But clearly for looking at empirical evidence, looking at voter distribution, control of key states and incumbency structures, APC is entering the next election with a measurable structural advantage. So that is there. You also have 29 governors so far. But if you're looking ahead to that election, what is the single biggest issue that will decide the 2027 election?
Nigerians are ready. You see, in as much, I don't want to focus on the amount of governors that we have, but you can't deny the fact that that is a plus.
Because it does not matter?
For every single individual. No, it does matter, but even without the governors, we would have still won the election. In 2023, we won without these governors, and now you have more governors joining us, and you have more people who have come to join the party. So that's why I said we are going to win. The percentage is going to be too much compared to 2023. Now, APC is ready, and the facts are there. Now, I want to quickly just stress something, because there are so much achievement with Mr. President that people are not considering. For me, as somebody who grew up in Nigeria, I know how difficult it was for me to go to school. When I look at over 1 million students who get student loan, I could just imagine if this was in place while I was a student back in Nigeria. So these 1 million students who are excited that they can go to school, whose parents are excited that their children can go to school, these people are ready to vote. So I don't know what people are looking at. I know this issue of subsidy removal has been a big deal, and people are using that to campaign. But I can tell you, there was so much that has gone on well with this administration that when the time comes for campaign, like I said the last time I was on your show, we're going to be rolling the scorecard. You can't discard the fact that we have more governors now. But again, that's not the reason why we are going to win. It may contribute why we are going to win with a greater percentage compared to 2023. But Mr. President is ready, APC is ready, and I can tell you, come May 29, he will be sworn in for second term.
Yeah, more governors, and the question is that even enough to win elections? Look at by May, this administration would have steered the affairs of the nation for 3 years. Economists on this show have, consistently said that multiple macroeconomic reforms implemented by this government are long-term in nature. And to be fair on this government, is APC being unfairly judged for fixing inherited structural problems rather than causing hardship? But also for you, how does APC counter that narrative that things are worse without contest?
No, I mean, things are not worse, considering where the country was heading to. Let me dive back to the issue of the governor one more time, because I see you raised it several times. Now, for every governor is one vote. And whether you like it or not, the governor has cabinet members, the governor has team, every governor has support team. Remember, they are governors. They won elections in their state. So for these numbers, joining what we already have, I don't see why people would think it won't add up. For every one vote you get, it's an addition. Mr. President got 8-point-something million votes. For every governor that come with their members from every state, even if it's 1 million, every governor bring from their state. You can't discard that is going to assist or is going to add up to the general percentage of the election. Like I said, we're going to win this election even if they are not come, but they are coming is a plus. When you look at the general state of the nation, like the issue of fuel subsidy, let me quickly just dive in there. All the candidate campaign, because that's the bedrock, that's the foundation of the beginning of the hardship at the initial stage. Every candidate, whether it's Atiku, whether it's Peter Obi, everybody said they were going to remove subsidy. And Mr. President, being a very smart man, did on the first day that he was being sworn. I could tell you, if Mr. President had not removed subsidy on that day, it would have been difficult for him to do. Look at how many presidents wanted to. If he had given a scheduled time, maybe I'm going to do this in 6 months' time, I'm sure Labor, NUT, student, everybody would have been on the street protesting. Before you know it, it will be 1 year. This is not done. It will be 2nd years. So the smart thing and the best thing Mr. President did was to announce the subsidy removal on the very first day. He began his administration. He began his first term by removing subsidy. If he had attempted to do it halfway, it would not be possible. And I'm sure by now, we will not be enjoying some of the things we are enjoying today. The governors are enjoying. So much projects are going on across the nation. The governors can pay salaries. The governors now can pay contractors, which they owe. So there are so much. Even the student loan, it was possible because of the subsidy removal. So much benefits that we have to give Mr. President credit for. We have the list of all the achievements. And one after the other, when it's time for campaign, we'll be telling Nigerians, we'll be rolling all the scorecard. Are there more to be done? Of course. And that's why we are seeking a second term, a re-election, so that Mr. President can complete what he started in the first term. 4 years is not enough to change an issue, to change decades of corruption, of mismanagement of the nation. So 4 years is not enough. Even 8 years, you won't get all completed, but at least the foundation has been laid. And I'm sure second term, Mr. President will be building on it.
All right. What would APC criticize itself for if it were to be in opposition? That's one. And next month is your party's national convention. The APC has reconstituted, talked about reshuffling the leadership of that central coordination committee, expanding the panel from 73 to 90 members. That was just a few days after some party members were saying a 73-member committee is too large, it's too excessive. I mean, we woke up to 90 names. Is this about inclusiveness, or we're looking at political compensation?
The party is growing. You will expect that to happen. Like you stated, more governors are joining us. And now at this point, there are people who would have contested in their various states for various positions, governors and the rest. And because the governors are here, you already know they have the greater chance of becoming the candidate. So there's room for expansion. You can be growing as a party. Right now, we are, I think, the largest political party in West Africa. You can be growing as a party, and yet you don't see the need of increasing such membership. So I think the point and the need to increase it is very, very important. Again, APC is going to win this election. I can guarantee you that. And all of these things you're seeing, they are necessary. In terms of criticizing the party, of course, we know what needs to be done. I don't think it's up to us as the ruling party to come on national TV and begin to criticize ourselves. If there are things we need to criticize on, we do it in secret. We do it in the party meeting. We do it, in the closed doors, not on national TV. There are things to be done, and we keep working. You remember, it's not even 3 years yet. By May, it will be 3 years. It's 2 years and a couple of months. So the journey continues, and that's why we are seeking re-election, so that Mr. President can complete, at least to a greater extent, the renewed hope agenda.
And we've also seen some of those governors giving their green light for the congresses and national convention to hold as scheduled. But the question on the lips of many is how the party intends to manage the outcome of the congresses and convention ahead of the 2027 general election. Yes, it looks like the party is together now, but these are some of the issues that may cause mayhem ahead of the 2027 elections. Ekini Nabena, for instance, that's your party's former spokesperson, is already warning the party's NWC not to cede the party structures to the incumbent governors across the country. How huge of a challenge is this for the national leadership of your party, especially when there is an unwritten law that says that governors are the leaders of the party in their respective states?
You know, this reminds me of 2021, 2022, while we were preparing for the primary election. I was on TV so many times like this, and this was such a big deal. I mean, you were hearing the party will implode. I remember when we went for the presidential screening, we came out, did an interview, that's all we were hearing, that the party is going to explode, people are angry. At the end of the day, the primary elections were done, nobody went to court. We went through the general election with all the headache, the Naira redesign, with all the trouble for scarcity. We went through the election, Mr. President was sworn in, and every day, you know, people keep talking about APC is going to explode. Let me tell you something. One of the reasons I joined APC is a very stable party. APC has mechanism to resolve issues. And I don't know a better candidate, a better person right now to be in the affairs of this party than Mr. President. For a man like him, with foresight, wisdom, humility, and smartness, you can even see most people who criticize him during the election, they are part of us. That tells you this man has something to offer. There's a structure that APC have. To resolve issues, we have it. To be able to manage people, we have it. And there are going to be pockets of issues here and there. That is expected. This is politics. You are dealing with people from different background, religion, culture, coming together and forming a party. Issues are expected. But the question is it big enough to cause the boat of APC to shake? Absolutely not. And I can tell you, when this issue arises, the structure is there to be able to manage them. And, you know, come 2027, you're going to watch and experience how we are going to skate through. Again, so much are going on the ground, so much meetings are going on, and this is the foundation being laid, preparing for the congresses, preparing for the primary election. And I can guarantee you, when that is done, we may not even have 1 or 2 persons going to court because the structure is there to be able to manage crisis.
All right, because some of the concerns that were raised in 2027 are coming up again. And that would lead me to ask you if the APC genuinely listens to young persons or young members of the party or just compensates them with something when genuine concerns are raised. One of those concerns, I mean, young members of the party are saying this again. They're asking party elders to uphold the existing zoning arrangements in the interest of unity, equity, and justice ahead of the national convention. Now, the leadership, they're talking about the leadership in various geopolitical zones to look into micro-zoning arrangements on the balance of equity. Now, why should that be a major concern for members who should ordinarily trust the system?
I'm trying to understand, if there's anything I know young people have been clamoring for was to be included. The issue of zoning has not been a topic with just young people. It has been an issue with everybody. The only thing I know the youth, the young men and women like myself have been clamoring for is for administration to recognize our voice, which you have to give it to Mr. President. We have so much young people on board. In terms of listening to the young persons, of course, we are being listened to. The zoning issue has nothing to do with just young persons. It has to do with the general party. And again, you can see at every time issue arises in APC, which is expected, we'll be deceiving ourselves to think issues will not come up. As much as they do come up, we're able to weather the storm. We're able to manage these issues and crises to the extent that you don't see us running all over in court. Right now, all other political parties have so much from the state to the federal. They're all in court for various issues, but you don't see that with APC. despite the trouble. Now, there are some issues we have faced in several states that if it was other political parties, I'm sure they would have imploded, they would have, exploded also. But for us, because we have the mechanism, because we have the structure, we're able to manage it. That's what I want you to take note of. The key thing is we have the structure to manage crisis.
Do you think this is something that is lacking in other political parties?
Of course.
All right.
Of course. That's why they are falling apart. And I get surprised when they start blaming APC, blaming Mr. President for all their misfortune. The foundation is faulty. They have no structure. It's just like a car. Some cars have better shock absorbers.
Dr. Felix, let me put you on hold. Let me put you on hold. We must take a break at this moment. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation. It's also important to say that when we return, this conversation continues on our other platforms. Please stay with us, everyone. Conversation with Nicholas Felix is the 2023 APC youngest presidential aspirant. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program, Dr. Felix. Now, there's a growing narrative that the North is losing confidence in President Bola Tinubu. Let me have your perspective about that. How true is this?
Absolutely not. The North is not losing confidence in Mr. President. You go to the North, they are singing his praises. They are singing on your mandate, we shall stand. But again, like I said, there are going to be pockets of people who are going to have issues for whatever reason. Before we came on now, I saw in Adamawa, the governor and the elders, I was quite amazed, praising Mr. President for a balancing appointment. That's the people we should be looking at, not a few group of persons who have personal agendas and they go, recruit people and start making noise. You're looking at the party structure. You're looking at elders in the state.
But is there a likelihood, Dr. Felix, is there a likelihood that political elites may be overstating Northern support? I mean, how can we accurately assess the sentiment of the average voter in the North?
I mean, look at Kano. When the governor defected to APC, look at the crowd that came, including the Kwakwansias that came to join us. These are all people who have joined our party, in turn, who are going to support Mr. President. Again, there are always pockets of persons who they agree for whatever reason. It's expected. We don't expect everybody to come out there and support Mr. President. But in terms of the greater number, I think Mr. President has a great amount of support from the North. And like I said at the beginning, we're going to have more vote this time around. I have predicted 15 million from day one, and we're going to work towards that at every level. Right now, we have Kano. And those millions of votes from Kano are going to be coming to Mr. President compared to what happened in 2023. So that's why I kept saying, don't discard the governors, their addition. The addition is going to make the number bigger. We are looking for an election that will be, the margin will be so much that going to court will be, because, that's the normal thing in Nigeria, and everybody lose election, even the councillors, everybody's running to court as if the court is supposed to perform magic. This time around, the margin is going to be so much that going to court will be fruitless and meaningless.
I mean, considerably also, former Governor Malam El-Rufai was almost whisked away at the airport today. Reports say his passport has been seized. And some of his supporters say this is an attempt by the APC to silence opposition voices. Do you think there's any merit to that claim?
I mean, I was expecting that. I don't know who else they would have blamed. Obviously, they would not have blamed PDP. Obviously, they won't blame SDP or whatever. They're going to blame the APC and Mr. President. I don't know what the issue is, but like El-Rufai has issue with from his state. Even the state assembly initially indicted him. Of course, if there are issues and questions surrounding him while he was governor, he has to go and answer. Mr. President is not the chairman of EFCC. EFCC is an independent body, so they have the right to go after anybody. And I'm sure even in APC, you have seen where EFCC went after APC members. So this has nothing to do with silencing opposition. That's the secret way. That's their loophole now. And these governors, these ministers, senators, they commit financial crime. Once they leave office and EFCC is going after them, the easy way is to blame the president or the party. Look at Malami, the same thing, with all that has been seized. And yet, you're blaming APC, you're blaming Mr. President. Nigerians need to wake up. Nigerians need to be smart. The fact that the ruling party or the leading party is on seat does not mean everything they do that has to do with opposition is wrong. Again, EFCC is an independent body. If they find necessary cause to go after him, they should. I don't think they should be afraid now because is an opposition. Same way I will expect them, like they have done, to go after even APC members. It doesn't have to be just opposition. But I can tell you this has nothing to do with silencing opposition. If he is invited, he should go and answer.
This is pre-election year and an already charged atmosphere. Are you considering the implications this could have, this kind of incident could have for political discourse in the country? I mean, already there are concerns that the ruling party might be limiting political space for opposition. How do you assess the current political climate as we speak? I mean, with ADC chieftains claiming implosion awaits the APC governors will soon start leaving the party for ADC.
How do you leave APC for ADC? You see, everybody, I've gone through an election. In 2019, I went through a presidential election. In 2023. At this point, I won't go into an election or a party where I know at least I don't have the 50% chance of winning that election. These governors want to win election. SDP cannot provide such platform. SDP don't have the number. Even ADC don't have the number. I was listening to an article a few days ago. He said we are still trying to put the structure together. Now, if just few months to election, you still don't have a structure, when you lose that election, don't blame Mr. President. How is it taking you long to put structure together? I thought you all said you guys are political giants. You came from different parties. This one has so much strength. Atiku has weight. After more than 2 years of coming together, you're still trying to put up the political structure together. It already tells you the foundation is already faulty, and they already leading to failure. When they fail, not if, when they fail, now they start blaming the president. Is it the president that has stopped them from putting structure together? Is it the president that has stopped them from going from ward to ward, state to state, putting that structure together? They are not doing it. Rather, they are busy criticizing the president, busy criticizing APC, instead of focusing on their political party, instead of putting their house together, putting the structure together. Look at us as APC. We are busy organizing ward to ward, unit, polling unit to polling unit, having e-registration, because we want to know how many members do we have? What are we expecting? We are busy putting, despite the fact we already have the structure, despite the fact we are the leading party, we still keep doing that. But a party like SDP, they are not ready for an election. And tomorrow they'll be blaming the failure on the party and Mr. President. So this issue, we have to address it. Nigerians need to be smart. We are doing our part. They should go and do their part also.
I'm sure you wanted to say ADC, not SDP, but we're talking about former allies of Mr. President. We're talking about former chieftains of the APC who understand the template, the strategies APC uses in winning election. When you consider this, isn't the APC disadvantaged already when it comes to strategies?
Absolutely not. 2027 is not 2023. You must understand, so much has changed. You know, every election has its wind, has its atmosphere. The election of 2023, we suffer for scarcity. The Naira redesign issue brought so much pain on Nigerians and indirectly affected us as a party. Right now, we don't have those issues. There's no issue of Naira redesign. I don't think you remember the last time there was fuel scarcity or people lining up to buy fuel. All of those issues are gone. So right now, it doesn't matter if you were the campaign director of APC in 2023, the election season has changed. I don't know what they think they know that we don't know. The last time I checked, we go out there, sell the manifesto to the people, explain what Mr. President has been doing, which many of them can see, tell them what is the next phase of this administration in second term, and let the people vote. There's no two ways about it. They know the secret. What secret do they know? How to organize rally, how to plan votes. What else do they know? How many people are we even talking about? Are we talking about Erufai? Who else is there that was part of the team? Erufai is the only person I see there. I mean, she was never part of anything. After the primary election, he was angry and he left. And like I said, I don't know who gave him the impression that he was going to win the election. Who else left the party that you think now is going to cause APC to shake? If these men were not there in 2023, we would have won the election. They are not there now. They are very, very insignificant to winning this election. 2027 is not going to be like 2023. Same way when you look at 2031, for example, you won't compare it to what will happen in 2027. So in my few years experiencing election all over the world, every election season has what they have to deal with. This time around, we have the sitting president. Don't forget, that's a great advantage, meaning we are not struggling in the primary election. There is not going to be fallout in any primary election regarding the presidency. So that alone has already given us cushion to move straight into the general election. So we are conserving our energy. we are conserving our resources, we are conserving our time and all of those things. We are putting all towards the general election. Unlike now, you talk about ADC, for example. ADC is what you should be worrying about, not us, because I can guarantee you, some of these candidates are not going to go through with the primary election. Some of them are going to quit few days before the primary election. Some of them will be angry after the primary election. They will not participate, just like Rotimi. I'm sure if he didn't win that election, he's not going to join whoever is going to win. So they are the ones that should be worried about this, not us as a leading party. I don't like using the word ruling party. We are not rulers, we are leaders. But we are stabilized, APC is stabilized, and we are moving straight to the general election. That's why the issue of congresses, the issue of convention, is not a big deal because we're going to skate through that with ease. Again, at the beginning of this, you asked me if I was contesting. I'm not contesting, and I'm sure all other 21 presidential aspirants in 2023, many of us are endorsing and supporting Mr. President for 2027. So there's nobody who's going to be aggrieved that the president we have to be pleasing or the party we have to go and talk to, that they were supposed to be the candidate. We are waiting for the general election. And I can guarantee you, like I said, the margin is going to be greater than what you saw in 2023.
All right. We'll have this conversation again after the national convention. By then, we'll see how stable the APC is. I'm sure you must have been observing the polity in recent times. So I won't take you up on the amendment to the Electoral Act. Do you see this approval of e-transmission with manual backup as a genuine reform or some political compromise that may further weaken electoral integrity in this country? I mean, there's an argument that electoral transmission is vulnerable to hacking. Some are saying manual collation is more easily manipulated. Which poses the greater risk for you?
You just hit the nail right in the head. You know, there are people who talk about manual reform. And I'm quite sure if the National Assembly has brought that, again, you know, everything that happened in Nigeria goes to the president. Even if it does not rain for the next 1 week, everybody says Mr. President that caused it. The National Assemblies are doing their own thing, and the blame goes to him. But again, there are people who want manual collation. There are people who want e-transmission. There are people who want both. There are people who say only e-transmission. At the end of the day, I believe the National Assembly made the right choice. I can remember, you know, during the past election, network was difficult. I couldn't even make call for my polling units because the network was difficult in my villages. You know, even in Abuja, a few months ago, it's been very difficult. If not that I have Wi-Fi, there was no network at home. I'm talking about Guarimpa, where I live in Abuja. Network was difficult. So I don't think, for me as a person, because when I watched that the proceeding and I saw the conclusion, I was kind of glad. Not because I'm an APC member. This can happen to anybody. Your polling unit has no address. Your polling unit has no party affiliation. Your local government has no party affiliation, whether you are APC, ADC, or PDP. The issue is, what happened? Imagine I leave my home, my state, I leave my base, I travel down to my state, I go to my village for election, mobilize, go with my team. At the end of the day, after waiting online for hours, I cast my vote and I win my unit, of course, which is expected. Now you tell me, hey, there's no network, we cannot transmit. You think I will be happy? No. There's nobody that will be excited that after all this pain, you're telling me my vote will not count because there was no network. So that's why I agree with the manual backup in places where there's no network. I don't know why the opposition are having issues. Remember, in every polling unit, you're supposed to have your agent. APC, of course, we have our agent. PDP, we have their agent. ADC and all other political parties, you have your agent. If there is network in your polling unit, all the agents will know. If there is no network, everybody will know that there is no network. So this shouldn't be an issue. I think what they are afraid of is they're not going to be able to have, they don't have the structure. They don't have what it takes to have agents in every polling unit. And every place they lose, probably because there's no agent to affirm or to testify that there was network, they'll blame it, their failure, on APC. Get your agents ready, put your house in order. By now, you should be having all your agents, having these meetings going on, so that at least in every polling unit, if I get to my polling unit, you're not going to tell me there's no network when I'm right there seeing that there is network. So there's no issue here. But again, there's nothing you do that will satisfy every Nigerian. Most want, like you said, they want the manual collation. Some want both. At the end of the day, I think the National Assembly made the right choice by making it both. All
right. So that's by the way, because there are other amendments. The Senate also opted for permanent voter card as the only mode of identification. But you hear people say globally, electronic voter IDs are seen as a way to modernize and speed up voter verification, which, in other way promotes the introduction of technology in our electoral process in the first place. Isn't this a setback?
Nigeria has not gotten to some of the global stage, the things that happen globally. In America, you do mail-in ballots. You don't even need to go to the polling booth anymore. If you try that in Nigeria, I'm sure the opposition by now will be sleeping on the street. They're going to tell you APC is doing that to get all the votes. You don't even attempt to say that. So there are so much that when I hear people talk about, we have not gotten there. This has nothing to do with us as APC. For example, it may sound like I'm digressing. When I see police officers checking the papers of vehicles or the VIOs, whoever they are that check those stuff, I sometimes ask myself, how do you know this is authentic? There are no electronic registration to verify that this document, this man or this woman is holding it is authentic. So the foundation is still not there. So the voters card at least is the best way to start. We should be discussing things like this before election. We can't be bringing up issues like this 1 year to election and mentioning all of those things. It's not going to work.
Okay.
This reform should take place. The foundation should be laid way before election. We're talking about election is just, today is the 13th, 1 year and just a few days away from now. Right now, INEC don't have that time to be discussing anything more than what they already have in place.
So as a politician, I should be able to preempt you, but I'll try not to do that. In Nigeria, we know how pervasive vote buying is in this country. I mean, you begin to ask yourself, how does the Senate think that a 2-year jail term does reflect the gravity of the offense? And as we speak, some Nigerians see the rejection of a tougher sentence as a signal that vote trading is not being taken seriously in this country. Now, we're talking about a process where electoral manipulation involves organized networks. Is a 2-year sentence dissuasive enough? Do you think a 10-year sentence is actually excessive?
I'm not a lawyer, and I hope to go to law school someday. But if you ask me, crimes are punished, or penalties for crimes are punished based on the gravity of it. As bad as vote buying is, I don't think. Again, I know this may sound like because I'm a member of APC, and every blame, like I said, if it does not rain, it's APC's fault and it's Mr. President's fault. But a 10-year sentence for vote buying, come on, I think that's too harsh. What do we give to rapists? What do we give to terrorists? What do we give to robbers? People who inflict pain on people. I don't think 10 years jail term was realistic. Again,
well, I should have preempted you, Dr. Felix.
Yeah, but I think 10 years would have been too much. It's not because it doesn't matter who is involved. 10 years for vote buying, in my opinion, I think it would have been too much. The question is, you should compare people who commit this atrocity, who inflict pain on others. You shouldn't. It's just like in America, for example, parking have different tickets. The man who parked in a disabled parking space may be fined 250. The one who parked in a bus stop may be fined 50, even though they are a violation of parking. But you look at the gravity of the offense to inflict pain, the punishment. I know Nigerians, everybody's angry, don't do vote buying and the rest of that. But I don't think emotions should play when it comes to the things of law. You give 10 years to somebody for vote buying. If we're going to be doing that, then we have to change all the law. Whatever was 2 years before now need to move to 20 years because 10 years is too much.
If we consider some of the sanctions too excessive, how then do we achieve electoral integrity in this country? Or are we just joking around?
No, I think we are focusing on what is wrong. What we should be focusing on, how many people have been, even these 2 years we're talking about, or whether it's 30 days in prison, how many have been sentenced to 30 days? That is what we should be focusing on, not the 10 years. The issue is, how much of it are we carrying out? Whether you make it 10 years, whether you make it 20 years, are we enforcing it? That's the question, and that's what we should be looking at. I believe if in every election, also, you have 1,000
That's also another challenge, which is critical, because the law, there is no place in the law that permits INEC to arrest or prosecute any electoral offender. And that's why Nigerians are clamoring for a National Offences Commission.
INEC, you can't put such responsibility on INEC. INEC already have too much to be dealing with. Having INEC, how are you going to do it on the day of election in each unit? You will have another INEC official to be monitoring people. I think that's where we have the law enforcement who are supposed to be the one to make arrests. By the time you tell INEC to go and arrest, that means now you have to be providing guns, you have to be providing handcuffs, whatever they need to be able to carry such arrest. It's not the job of INEC, so we should just leave INEC out of it. The issue is in each polling unit, in each ward, wherever you find these perpetrators, we should be able to get them arrested, send them to court, and of course, let the judge judge them and be able to, penalize them for whatever it is. But again, I think the issue is not how much the amount of time, whether 2 or 10 years. The problem is we need to be able to enforce it. That's the basic issue we have in Nigeria now, enforcement of the law. There are so many every day Nigerians are breaking the law. Many people are driving without driving license, and the police sees them and they go free. So it's the same issue we have with people driving. I can guarantee you, majority of these people who are complaining, asking for those years, they break the law every day. They break the law. Many of them don't pay tax. Many of them don't even have driver's license. Many of their driver's license expire. They don't renew them. Many of them have cars that are not registered. But at the end of the day, they think it's just about vote buying. The issue we have is enforcement, generally, not just about vote buying. As far as Nigeria is concerned, you look at people, they come to Nigeria, you're driving in front of the car, you're supposed to have your seatbelt on. Drivers don't have seatbelt on. Passengers don't have seatbelt on. You see women carrying children in the car without a car seat, which they are supposed to. How many of these are we enforcing? There is no enforcement to a greater extent in Nigeria. I think that's what is also affecting, having people arrested and persecuted for vote buying. It's not just because it's vote buying. It's a general issue that I think the law enforcement need to work on.
I wonder how you quickly deviated, Dr. Felix, and juxtapose that with stealing votes. But let me take you up on other matters, and particularly about the president's economic diplomacy. We have a president that has emphasized economic diplomacy in his foreign engagements. How effective do you think these trips have been in attracting foreign investment and boosting our economy?
Of course, they've been very, very productive. And you look at the India, the Qatar, all of those investment MOUs that were signed. Obviously, you do know that some of this investment take time to come. The fact that the president visited your country, had a meeting with you guys, does not mean the next day you're pumping billions. There's so much that goes in place. Well, at least the process has begun. Now, these trips are very important. When I see people complain that the president is traveling, I sometimes wonder, you think we need people who are business mindset to handle some positions in our nation, not just people who are just politicians. Because I remember Mr. President at the beginning said, I am the chief marketer. I'm the chief marketer of this nation. You don't sit down in your house as a marketer and expect investors to come and meet you because you are who? President Trump also traveled all the time, meeting people. If the president was traveling for weddings, the prince of Dubai is getting married, we see the president there. One billionaire in whatever country is getting married, you see the president there. Somebody is celebrating birthday in another country, then we should be complaining. But when the president attend this summit, attend these meetings, that has to do meeting with investors, I don't think we should be excited that the president is not sitting down and expecting things to fall on us as a nation. He's going out, he's meeting investors, he's taking the pain, it's stressful, attending meetings all day, morning, day, and night, meeting people. That's something we should be excited about. Sitting down, just waiting for money from crude oil to just come, which, by the way, does not help us as a nation. It is this investment that will lead to job creation. The president should go more of it.
So for those who say the president is traveling too much, the argument is that the focus on international travel may overshadow urgent domestic economic issues. I mean, how should a president balance international diplomacy with pressing national economic challenges? For you, do you believe there's a threshold for how much a president should be abroad before it starts affecting domestic governance?
That's why you have the vice president. That's why you have the cabinet. Remember, the president, we have the chief of staff, we have the chief of defense, when it has to do with the emergency issue. Now, every emergency situation does not require the president to run there. That's what people not seem to understand. I do understand there are killings here and there, as serious as they are, doesn't mean the president must be seated. Even if the president is in the country, the president is going to be in the villa, Abuja. It's the same thing as if the president was in London. He gets his briefing, instructions are given out. The president is not the one taking a plane, going to the bush or wherever those incidents are occurring to go and be fighting. So that's why even vacation, I love the fact that he will always use the word working vacation. In other words, I'm the commander-in-chief. I'm on vacation doesn't mean I'm not in charge. I'm still in charge and I'm still working. Even during vacation, he's still working. So traveling abroad has to do with benefiting the economy. If every president sit at home because of emergencies that are going on, you will never travel. And at the end of the day, you have no avenue to be able to bring investors. Remember, as you go out to sell your nation, the chances of you getting investors becomes very high. If you do not go, many people will not even know what you have to offer. Let me also tell you why this is important. The narrative that is being peddled out there, especially in the foreign nation, is usually very high compared to what we actually see on ground. I remember in November, somebody saw me in the hospital and said to me, "Oh, you're from Nigeria?" It was a nurse. She gave me a hug and was consoling me. I was wondering what it was for. You are a Christian. They are killing you people anyhow. And I looked at her and said, no. It sounds as if we are hiding as Christians in Nigeria. That's the notion they have here. So when you go out there and sell, tell them Nigeria is a great place to invest. In Nigeria, you can have open your company and be able to pay low wages. For example, the other day I made a call to Amazon, and the person who picked the call was in South Africa. I heard from the accent. I said, who am I talking to? I was making the call from New York, and Amazon has a call center in South Africa. I'm sure thousands of people work there. The first thing that came to my mind, why can't we have same in Nigeria? They have it in Brazil. They have it in Mexico. What's the difference between South Africa and Nigeria? Why can't we have a call center? Amazon is not going to come and have a call center if you don't go and meet them and talk to them.
Talking about that, Dr. Felix, talking about that.
Meet them and talk to them. So right. These trips are important.
Absolutely. When you also consider the fact that Nigeria's diaspora plays a huge role in remittances and reputation building, but many Nigerian diasporas are skeptical about government sincerity due to past experiences. We're looking at a new administration. How can this government rebuild trust to make this charge believable and actionable? What role does transparency, anti-corruption efforts, and good governance play in winning back diaspora confidence?
Now, that's another reason Mr. President must travel. And as much as he does, we also encourage him to meet with Nigerians in the diaspora because, as you know, they are the second largest, apart from oil. The remittance of the diaspora is in the billions of dollars annually. So that's not a group. That's not a group of persons you want to ignore. And the diaspora remittance is very important because this money goes directly to the economy. It goes to Nigerians, go to family members. This is the money that you see that people spend and increase the GDP and help create employment in Nigeria. Oh. So in terms of the diaspora, when it comes to transparency, this is an issue globally. It's not just in Nigeria. We are in a day and era where people don't trust politicians. It's up to us as politicians to do as much as we can to be transparent so that people can trust us. But the diaspora block is a block I think the administration has taken serious, and I will encourage them to do more of it because they have a lot to do in contributing to the GDP of Nigeria.
All right. APC member Felix Nicholas, thank you so much for speaking with us on Politics Tonight. I appreciate your time with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Thank you. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. I will see you again tomorrow. Good night, everyone.